Self-trust. How is your self-trust? Do you trust yourself? Do you have self-trust? Do you follow through and back yourself? Or do you get so far and step back? I want to talk about that today in this little video. Hi, I'm Suze. I'm an intuitive life coach. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I also read tarot just for a little bit of fun. So I really am into the energy of things, how things feel energetically, not how they look physically. And I like to bring that through. I talk in a lot of metaphors, and I like to talk about a lot of different things that I've experienced in my life in the hope that it can help just one person today. So self-trust. Do you trust yourself? I can tell you that I thought I did, and I've realised over the last little bit in unpacking some other issues, the syntax of my problems of not stepping forward and being on the edge and not going any further is because I didn't trust myself. Why? Because I never backed myself enough. I didn't follow through on things. I would get scared and then hightail it out of there as quick as I could on all sorts of things that I knew were for me, but that I didn't trust myself to pursue. But it didn't come through as a self-trust issue, which is why I'm making the video today. So what it came through as, it came through as abandonment issues and woundings, and I would put stuff through my lens from all the things I'd experienced previously about people abandoning me, people not liking me, people misunderstanding me, people misjudging me, all of that sort of thing. And so that left wounds within me that I didn't realise were there. I was picking up a lot of stuff that people probably would say and not even remember saying. It wasn't important to them, but it fed my wound and it kept it full for a little bit, but then it would get hungry and want more. That's how I look at it now. My wound was a gaping hole that hadn't had any band-aid put over it, any stitching, any attention to heal. It was just growing ever deeper. And I couldn't work out why. When I discovered that I had abandonment wounds and abandonment issues, there were all sorts of ways that it would show up in my life. And then my greatest thing was, I'm getting the cues and the signs from this situation that someone's going to walk away, leave, abandon. I'll just blow it all up and I'll get out first, right? Wasn't there a Taylor Swift song that talked about, you want to leave before you get left? That was playing out in my life over and over. I would have some really great things come through in my life, and then I would get the shakes and get the scares, and maybe it would come up against a bit of a roadblock or something like that wasn't necessarily a roadblock that said no. It was a roadblock of normality of whatever it happened to be, and I would run, hightail it out of there back to my comfortableness. I thought that was about other people for so long. And I thought all sorts of things, but I realised that I didn't trust myself. I had not put myself in situations where I trusted myself enough to keep going. The first bit of negative feedback, the first bit of feeling unsure about stuff, the first bit of even excitement when I was like, I'm excited, I think this is really for me, that would terrify me. Now, this was all not happening at a conscious level. For the longest time, for all of my life, until, I don't know, recently, until I started to unpack all of these abandonment issues, did I realise that I didn't trust myself because I had constantly let my own self down. I wasn't on my own team. I wasn't my own cheerleader. I mean, I was my own cheerleader to a point, but the minute someone said, oh, down would go the pom-poms and I would hide. So, do you get where I'm coming from here? Do you understand this? Can you think of parts of your life maybe where this has happened to you? So what am I going to do about it? Well, I think awareness is key. So I'm patting myself on the back that I am now aware of this issue, which has only come up in the recent past. That it's not an abandonment issue or wound. It's about me. Well, sorry, it's not an abandonment wound from other people abandoning me, leaving me, misunderstanding me. It's when I would abandon myself. And that led to the lack of trust, which led me to lack of situations of putting myself into situations where I had to trust myself. I just wouldn't do it. I don't know. It seems pretty stupid when you say it like that. But this was all playing out for years and years and years. If I wasn't self-sabotaging it, I would run because I would get into something and I would truly believe it was for me and I would know and I'd get the hunger and then I'd be like, whoa, Suze, are you going to be able to maintain this? what's going to happen if you step forward and keep going in this direction? You know, people are already saying, what are you doing that for? What makes you think you could do that? Why would you think you could do that? Or talking behind your back saying, who does she think she is? Or people saying, oh, yeah, but I wouldn't say that and I wouldn't do it like that. And if I was doing it, I would do it this way. I took all of those as criticisms, as people, if this is what people are saying now, imagine when I get further out and in front of more people, it's just going to be more of the same. But the sad irony and fact of that is that it's not. I have actually received more positivity when I've stepped out than I have negativity. But again, the old default setting sets in for me, where I don't concentrate on the 99 beautiful comments that I've had. I concentrate on the one comment that was a judgment or a criticism or somebody blowing off steam because I triggered something in them. And I'm like, God, I don't want to go around triggering people. I don't think I better do this. It's kept me trapped in a pattern for about 4 years. So why I'm making this video is because this is not the pattern that it showed up as. And in life coaching, we learn, and the motto is in the life coaching community, the problem that you think is the problem is never the problem. What you present with as the problem, yes, is a problem, but that's not the cause of the problem. And the idea in a life coaching session or sessions is to get to the bottom of what it actually is. And so I went from no confidence in myself, no abandonment. I'm not confident because I'm scared of being abandoned. Yes, I'm scared of being abandoned by people, to, oh my gosh, all the ways I abandoned myself, to now realizing that it's about what it's about. The core level is self-abandonment. So how do I fix that? You don't fix it by not putting yourself in situations. Let me tell you that one, which is what I've done for 4 years and it's kept me stuck. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to ease into this. Acknowledgement is key, right? That's the first step. I'm acknowledging it. This is a problem. I'm not looking at it with shame on myself or guilt or whatever. I mean, I've cried some tears over this, let me tell you. And I've thought, wow. But now I'm like, great. Now I know what it is. I can deal with it. And that's where you stand on the precipice, which is the second part. Stand there in the uncomfortableness of, right, okay, that's the problem. How do I start to deal with the problem? And then you look out and you're like, I've got nothing to compare this to. I've never actually dealt with the problem. So stand in that uncomfortableness, accept that that's where you're at. All bets are off, blank slate. Any number of things could be a fix or not a fix. How do we move forward from that? You'll get choices in your situation about how you move forward. But in this situation for me, I'm going to slowly build self-trust by doing the little things. I'm bringing it back to my health at this moment, my physical well-being. After being sick on and off for a lot of years, it's brought back some of the times in my childhood when I was sick for a lot of years. And realising that a lot of that was actually mental, not as in I wasn't sick, but it was the mental load I was carrying was actually manifesting into physical illness because I wasn't doing a lot of things as me. And so now I'm like, right, I want to build, not resilience necessarily in the beginning, but I want to build a stronger me. So how can I build a stronger me and serve all of those things that I want to serve if moving forward in my life to make my life better? And also do the self-trust thing. So I'm going to set out some things. It's about drinking the water that I want to drink daily. It's about doing the oil pulling twice a day like I want to. It's about getting on that rebounder mat twice a day like I want to. It's about doing the little things in the part of life that I'm concentrating on right now, which is health and fitness and wellness. And that has a bigger stretch to everything because that bleeds over into everything I'm wanting to do over the next, 20 years, right? I'm 54 in a couple of weeks. And I want to make sure that when I'm 64 and 74 and 84, I've given myself the best chance at being active and fit and with it and able to work and able to coach and able to make videos or do whatever it is that I'm doing then. And the best way to do that is to get on top of my health and fitness and well-being. And so I'm going to put some little markers in there and make some lists and check the lists off and gain some momentum there where I can back myself up, where I can trust myself to do the little things. And I believe that building momentum starts. The big things start in the little things, guys. So whatever it is that you're trying to get a hold on, trying to do a 180 on, trying to change, trying to recognize and move forward into in a better way, however you can do that, it's in the little things, the daily things that you are doing, but making sure that it's not just the big things, the big goals that, it's like parenting. Parenting is the most amazing thing, and I'm so proud of what I did looking back at it now. Was I perfect? No. Were there mistakes? Always. Always mistakes. Did I do the best I could in every minute of every day? I absolutely did. But at the time, it doesn't feel like it. It's only in retrospect, it's only in looking back now that I can realise, hey, what a really great job I did for all the years that I was banging myself on the head for not being a good parent or not doing it right, not doing it as good as someone else, not doing da-da-da-da-da, right? So the big goal of parenting is to have kids that can go out and be socially functional, great people in the community, doing the best that they can. And I think I've achieved that, even with all the mistakes. But I didn't see that at the time, right? Because parenting is hard. And so that's a big goal, but I didn't make many little goals that I should have made, the little goals, right? So now I'm learning from all of that the big goals you can get lost in. It's like doing a 4-year apprenticeship, doing a uni degree, doing anything. That's a big whole thing that is going to get you somewhere. But you can get lost in the middle of that when you the excitement of starting something new is great. And in that first, year or 18 months, maybe the excitement gets you through. And in the last probably 12 months of something, you can see the finish line, so that gets you through. But in the middle of that marathon, right, what is getting you through? You can get lost in the source there. You can get lost in the can't see the beginning, can't see the end. What am I doing? A lot of people get lost here. There are a lot of graves here that are built in this messy middle bit of getting lost in the source. So that's why it's important to have some little goals along the way that will feature into, add to, grow into your big goals, but that give you something to tick off and to keep the momentum going. So like I said, that's where I'm at. I'm going to get into the little goals, the little things that will then help into everything. And I believe getting some mileage up on my health, my fitness, my wellness, my well-being, whilst also dealing with my mental well-being, that is going to give lots and lots and lots of momentum, lots of short-term gains, lots of little ticks, lots of, positivity that will then bleed over into every single area of my life and therefore also bleed over into other people's lives. I'll be able to coach better. I'll be able to have more energy to do all the things that I like. I will be able to have those times when the energy does dip, but I'll be able to, know that this is just for a short period of time and, I'm going to be able to have a rest tomorrow, do my this, do my that, do my something else, get me through. So I wanted to encourage you in that today too. A lot of things can come from this. The big things, the important things, they don't become anything without the foundational skills that you build in the small things. And it's a lot of small things that will build the foundation with which you'll build on. And sometimes we can build a really, really big building on some foundations that we thought was something but actually weren't, and the building will come crashing down. So when that happens, don't think I'm a failure, I'm an anything. Obviously you need to build some stronger foundations or different foundations now, because maybe the building that you were building you thought with your life was only going to be 1 or 2 stories, but maybe it's going to be 100 stories. Can't build a 100-story house on 2-story house foundations. So I hope that all makes sense. I'm a metaphors girl. I talk in all sorts of ways. I channel stuff through and I see visions and I try to help people to see what I see. But sometimes words don't cut it. But sometimes they do. And sometimes it just opens the floodgates for you to look a little bit differently with a different perspective of what's going on in your life and ask, how is this happening for me? What can I do? Where is it coming from? What do I need to sit with? What do I need to feel to peel back the next layer under, to get to the core problem so that then that can get dealt with love and compassion and curiosity, which is the biggest word at the moment, is curiosity. Get curious about the whys and wherefores. Don't look at them with shame. Don't try and cover them up. Don't feel like guilty. Don't feel anything. Look at them with curiosity, own them, sit with them, You'll get further and further down the layers of the onion till you get to the core issue of the core wound. Celebrate when you find that thing, and then move forward from there with grace and compassion. And in little steps, because like I keep saying, within the little steps are the big results. And the daily grind in the daily things, that's where results happen. Now, just on that before I go, don't kick yourself when you have a bad day, when you regress, when something happens or several things happen that then throw you out of your flow and you go back to your default settings. Celebrate that you're recognizing that you've gone back into your default settings, because before you were just running on that all the time like the hamster wheel, right? Again, show yourself love, compassion. Acknowledge it. It is what it is. Let it be what it is. And then get up the next day or the next hour or the next in the afternoon, whatever it happens to be. Get up and go again in your small things. Don't take that as a loss. Take that as another step in breaking the default pattern that you have set to make new default patterns that are going to serve you better into the future. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening. I'm Suze from Smarting Coaching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please feel free to comment in the comments anything that you got from this, that you think about, that, I don't know, share it with somebody that you think might get some benefit from this. And please come back and join me and subscribe if you feel like this is for you. This is the way that you like to get things, messages. I don't know. My motto here at Smarting Coaching is if I can just help one person today. Maybe you're that one person. Okay, love you. Take care.